Hello, everyone. This is Tom, your host for the Hidden Truths channel. How's everybody doing this evening? Well, tonight's live stream, we're going to talk about, let's say you were looking at the way America is from outside its bubble. What would you see? And we're going to talk about everything from your basics of life, water, food, survival, to the rogue president we got now. Yep, we're going to discuss all of it. Like I say, if you're in the bubble, you can't see it. But us that are outside the bubble, we can see the direction it's headed. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, tell you what, I haven't put out much material today and yesterday I didn't do a live stream because I am dealing with some sickness. I got the last 2 cans of chicken noodle soup in town. That's how sick the town is. We're out of chicken noodle soup. You know, I fought this off for a while, but boy, last night it hit me like a freight train. It was about 6 o'clock. Got back from my horse ride, took my shower, and it's like, damn, I hit a wall. Anyway, I'm feeling a lot better now. That's why I'm getting my live stream in. Took a bath to try to feel better, and I feel better. So figured do my live stream while I still can. Because this is a nasty disease. Like I say, the whole town's sick. The town's out of chicken noodle soup. That's how sick we are. Wonder if they had that problem during COVID. Probably not. They were too busy trying to force stuff into your body that shouldn't go in there, right? We're going to also talk about looking from the outside, looking in at the medical in this country. Anyway, should be an interesting live stream. So I gotta wait a little bit for some people to show up because YouTube's very particular about my channel. But I do thank all the new subscribers I got. My channel really grew the first 4 days of January. Well, I wonder if it has anything to do with Americans are pissed off right now and don't know what the hell is going on. It sure ain't the America that we were hoping for a year ago when President-elect Trump, we had all our high hopes for President-elect Trump. Anyway, crazy. Golden Shark does politics suck. I know. I'm going to get into, if you stay with the whole live stream, not expecting you to, but like I say, I'm discussing tonight how being on the outside of the bubble that America's in and looking at it and seeing how you would see it, starting from your basics of life, food, water, shelter, all the way up to the rogue president we got now. Anyway, so all of us that are outside the bubble, the people that outside the bubble looking at the United States as it's falling apart, how would you see it? Okay, me as a prepper and somebody who independent, I'm not dependent on anybody and definitely don't like the government in my life. How old are you? I am 58 years old. Born in 1967, graduated in 1986, and went to boot camp in the Marine Corps 3 days later after I graduated high school. Got to see the world, see how it's fucked up, and now everything I experienced overseas now happening in our country. Great times, isn't it? Anyway, looking at the United States outside the bubble. First, let's deal with the basics of life. Food, housing, and water. Well, let's start with water. Okay, that's what you need. You can't live without 3 days without water. We live in a country now, if I was on the outside looking in, and I'd see states that are taking people to court, preppers, people that are living off grid, because they're collecting rainwater. Trying to sit there and find them thousands of dollars because they're collecting rainwater, because the states feel that they own the water that falls out of the sky. I don't remember seeing that in the Bible anywhere, because it adds to the state's water table. Are you kidding me? Do you realize how much when 1 acre of ground gets an inch of water? You know how many gallons of water that is? It's like 160,000 gallons of water. So if you have one guy that's living off the grid or a family living off the grid that may collect $10,000, $15,000 gallons of rainwater every year, and you're going to sit there and try to find them? Water's a necessity in life, but I guess the state owns it, right? So they get to divvy whether you get to take a drink or not, right? I mean, from the outside looking in, this is absolutely ridiculous. Another thing with off-grid people, with housing, we'll get into housing. They want to sit there, get rid of wood-burning stoves, and have a special tax, pollution tax for people that have wood-burning stoves. Boy, we're just a fucked up country. Anyway, this water stuff is ridiculous. I mean, how can the government sit there? They don't even own the rain. To sit there and claim ownership because it falls on a certain piece of ground that they say they control. What a bunch of shit. Does that mean I'm going to have to get permission sooner or later when water runs scarce to have a permit to get a drink of water out of my faucet? You know, one thing about me, you people in the big city, ICE needs to be stopped. I'm going to get into our rogue government. You hang along for the whole live stream. I'm going to get into our rogue government. Because obviously these problems I'm talking now, Trump has no interest in, because he's more concerned about kidnapping leaders from other countries and saying it's justified. Boy, and people don't think the chickens are going to come home to roost for this. You're out of your freaking mind. By the way, so the state owns the water. So, some state like the state of Nebraska I live in, I can't collect groundwater. On my property, I have a cistern. And back in the day, they used to have your gutters on your house, used to drain into your cistern. And that was your soft water. That's what you use for washing clothes and taking baths and stuff like that. Okay, and then also my pump, I get my water straight out of the Ogallala Aquifer. My well's 180 feet down. I can drink my water right out of the tap. But the state wants to take that, okay? Now let's get into our food. They're poisoning the shit out of our food. From it being, I'm in agriculture and ranching, and I have seen it on both sides. Where the yields that farmers used to have 50 years ago is small time compared to the yields that they get out of fields now. Like when I was growing up, you had a corn plant, it had one good ear on it. And if there was a second ear, it was a scrub ear that, wasn't no good anyway. But now we have genetically engineered corn that has 3 ears of corn on it. 3 nice big ears of corn on it. Don't worry that it's genetically modified, okay? And the thing about this plant, I was used to, when I was growing up, having not hybrid seeds, but heirloom seeds for our gardens. Whatever seeds that you got from the fruit from your garden, your vegetables, that's what you planted the next year. But now these hybrid shit, oh no, it's only good for 1 year. Not saying that the seed won't grow a plant, but it'll grow a plant. And if it grows any fruit or what the plant's supposed to produce, it's unedible, it's garbage. So instead of going from something that a seed we can use for the rest of our life, coming from the food we eat for the rest of our life, now it's only a 1 year thing. Now, when you go to the store, you can buy hybrids or heirloom. I suggest heirloom. Now, there are some hybrids I buy. I'm not going to lie to you. I like the cookies and cream sweet corn, okay? But I also got heirloom sweet corn. Because when all this goes down, nobody, if you just have hybrid seeds, well, you're going to eat for 1 year. Anyway, and then they're poisoning our food. I mean, cattle. 40 years ago, a cow, when it went to market, a steer or a heifer, a steer weighed about 1,200 pounds, and a heifer was just a little bit below that. Now you got steers that weigh 1,600 pounds, and the heifers are like almost 1,500. Okay, and working in a hospital in a feedlot I have, the thing is when a cow gets over that 1,200 pounds, it's structurally, its feet can't handle it. And you start having a lot of foot issues with the cattle. But anyway, and then, Anybody wonder why our kids are all of a sudden 7 feet tall and at 9 years old, they're starting to look like we did when we were 18? That's because all the hormones they're putting into these cattle. It's a bad situation. It's a bad situation. Our food supply is being poisoned, tainted. I mean, read the ingredients on something you buy from the store once, where it's actually got metal particles in your food. You know, it's, God, growing up the way I did, and we haven't gardened and growing all our food ourselves, our jellies. I mean, my mom had to go to the store and buy peanut butter. We got milk because we didn't have dairy. But, you know, we didn't have a lot that we spent on food, and we ate wholesome foods every day. Anyway, they're just poisoning our food. And from somebody on the outside looking in, I look at this and say, what the hell's wrong with America? You know, they're poisoning the shit out of your food. And you don't even care. What the hell happened? Oh, we caught them all. Yeah. The thing is, our politicians, like the short I made. You know, you call politicians a horse's ass, that's disrespecting the horse. But they are both full of shit, okay? So our food is just actually, I guess it's keeping some people alive. But us people out here, we try to eat as much normal food as possible without all the processing, even though it's hard to do these days. But, you know, do the best you can to eat wholesome foods, natural foods. Grow your own food. You know, when you take a cow or pig in on the hoof, you know you're getting your cow or pig back, not a hamburger that has 1,000 different cows in it from 10 different countries. Crazy time, people. And should we get into housing? What do I need to say about housing? Well, normal people can't afford a house no more. Even if you're middle class, you can't afford a house no more. We got a lot of people living in their cars, and they consider themselves lucky because they can't afford an apartment anymore. I wonder if that has anything to do with the government subsidies for all these foreigners in this country. I mean, we got rid of all the foreigners in this country, taking up all the housing. Housing would drop dramatically, and people could stop living in their cars. Or if they're lucky enough, live in a tent. Just from the outside looking into the bubble of the United States. We can't even afford the richest country in the world. Trump says that there's money just flowing like crazy. Americans have money to burn. Yeah, to pay in taxes. We just can't afford anything else. Housing is ridiculous. What's Trump's solution to it? A 50-year mortgage. Yeah, not 30, 50 years. And the average person doesn't buy a house till their mid-30s. So you're talking, I guess we got to raise the retirement age because we got to keep them working till 85 so they can pay off their mortgage. And then houses they build these days are garbage. They're made out of garbage material. Take it from somebody who knows construction and has built houses and remodeled houses. The materials used to build them are garbage compared to years ago. The house I live in now is well over 100 years old. Made with rough cut lumber. People may say, what's rough cut? Stuff that was milled, where a 2x4 is actually a 2x4, or a 2x8 is actually a 2x8. But anyway, this house is structurally sound. It'll stand for another 100 years. None of the wood that built the framework of this house is rotting at all. Boy, how can they make that years ago, and today a house after 50 years needs to be destroyed? Just like, you know, in Minnesota, the Metrodome, right, was built in the 80s. It only lasted 40 years. You mean something that costed $500 million back in the 80s only lasted 40 years? How the hell you pay something like that off in 40 years? My God was here before Jesus and Allah and Bubba. Yeah, I don't really want to talk about religion tonight because, like I say, I'm a stern believer in God. I do believe on YouTube, filling my purpose for the Lord's work. Okay. But religions, we can get into that. Okay. But that covers the basic necessities for the human being: water, food, and housing, which is harder and harder for the American citizen to accomplish. This is the thing. We got Somalians living in multi-million-dollar mansions, driving six-figure vehicles by defrauding the taxpayer. And the American citizens are becoming a second-rate citizen who can't afford shit. And Trump's make America great again. I'm so sick of politicians on both sides out. They don't give a shit about us. With the Somali fraud, it ought to show you that the politician doesn't give a rat's ass about us taxpayer. Okay, you just keep, they got the same attitude the Somalian work. You dumbasses keep going to work and paying your taxes so we can sit there and live a better life. That's all we're talking about, money. Let's get into money right away. Nobody has any more, Mr. Trump. Even though you think us Americans got money to burn, none of us have. You shall follow me kicking and screaming. Okay, whatever, dude. Bring it on, bitch. All you fucking little faggots out there that think you got control of me, bring it on, bitch. I'd like to see you do something to this Marine that he hasn't already experienced, you piece of shit. I will follow you. Yeah, sure. Right on. I'll fucking follow you to the cliff and then push you the fuck over it. Hold your tongue. Who is that? Orange Sunrise? Fuck you. Come and make me, bitch. I mean, obviously your words have so much power. Come and shut me up. Okay? That's another thing, social, you got little pricks like that, little beta males in their fucking mommy's basement. Little beta males that sit there and cherish. Hey, social media, we can shut people down. Like I say, hope you stay around, Orange Sunrise. You're mine. Like, fags are us. That's what this piece of shit is. I love it when a troll thinks they can get the best of me. Not one of them are a superior male over me, but so what? That's what they got going. I guess, every piece of shit on social media thinks taking on a combat Marine, especially when they've never been in a fight, is the first thing they want to do. That's one thing about all this shit coming down the pipe to America. I've been trained and experienced about what's coming our way. I'm going to survive. I know how to react. I've already had to experience this shit. Okay? And all you tough people out there, especially, I can hide behind my keyboard. I'm Superman. I'm going to watch another superhero movie. Woo, I'm great. But I do enjoy you trolls being here. Don't go anywhere, Orange Sunrise, because I do like you being here. Because anything these trolls can do is come here and help my analytics out, help my channel grow, help me get the word out. I appreciate it. Because one thing YouTube and social media likes is confrontational stuff. So keep it up. Did he take off? Oh, Orange, yeah. You're not a troll. What are you, a piece of shit then? Let me see a picture of you, fag boy. Hey, I tell you what, you really want to mess with me? I got some posts on my channel. Why don't you go to my posts and see what a combat Marine looks like? And then why don't you see my pet bear? Yeah, I'm sure your pussy ass would sit there and have a bear all day long as a pet. Maybe you can sit there and deal with Annie before you got to deal with me. I tell you what, I was feeling really not too good, Orange Sunrise, but you're cheering me up right as that. You're making me in a great mood. Keep it up. What you got now? Spiritual warfare is my specialty. Well, who's your God? I got God on my right hand shoulder. Think I fear your fucking faggot little ass? Whatever. And this is a spiritual war. You are right about that. You are completely, absolutely 100% right about it. So if you want to die for whoever your higher being is, so be it. I don't really care. I'm going to serve my Lord, and you're not going to stop me. I mean, intimidation? Are you kidding me? Free Ohio. We're going to get into Ohio too. We're going to get into the Somalia scamming. This is, you free Ohio. This is the thing, people like Minnesota, Ohio, California, Washington, New York. We need to take our states back. If you people march on your state capital, kick that state administration out, because the federal government cannot interfere with states, what the states deal with themselves. Trump cannot send military troops into Minnesota if the Minnesota residents decide to take their state back, to make sure that Waltz regime stays in. That's an interstate issue, okay? That's within the state. The people want to take the state back. Trump has to stay the fuck out of it. We need strong leaders like you in Ohio. I'm just a Marine that's had enough. I'm not a Marine. I'll tell you one thing about me. I'm not a politician. Okay, I've been a ground pounder. A foxhole's my home, you might say. But, yes, we do need strong people in charge. But we need Americans that understand what America's about. And this is what this is about. I'm on the outside the bubble looking the fuck in. And I'm seeing all this shit. And everybody's just like, well, we can't do nothing about it. What do you mean you can't do nothing about it? Do you think our founding fathers said that? We can't do nothing about the British Empire and what they're doing. Bullshit. We're America. The rest of the world's looking at us. You got the Constitution and the Second Amendment, and you're putting up with this shit? I mean, it's pretty sad if somebody who lives in Czechoslovakia is more worried about what happens in Washington, D.C. than what happens in their own capital. Okay? We need to stop the madness in Ohio. I'm from Minnesota. I moved out of Minnesota 4 years ago now. No, 3 years ago. And, it even definitely turned into more of a shithole. Like I say, I was small town Minnesota in southern Minnesota and been taken over by Somalians. Like I say, when Tim Waltz brags about how he's so happy that 50 different languages are being spoken in Worthington's a town of 6,000 people. So that means you maybe got 1,200 students in the schools in 50 different languages. How's anything ever getting taught there? But see, they don't tell you the population of the city, so everybody thinks, well, Worthington must be a couple million people. No, it's 6,000. And the only reason it's that big is because it's along Interstate 90. But anyway, back to the money. Nobody has any. The government just keeps going freaking further in debt. People spend. Nobody can afford to live in this country if you're an American citizen. But if you're a foreigner that's defrauding the American taxpayer, you're living great. Okay? And I'm sure so glad that Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, after being in Minneapolis for over a week, decided to arrest Maduro instead. Yeah, where's Tim Waltz? Anyway, we have no more money. Let's get into our education system from a guy outside the bubble looking in. Well, all the teachers I had were before the Department of Education. So I got an education, okay? And all my teachers except one that I had in school quit in the 90s when Clinton got in. Founding fathers would have stood up for this. Yeah, a long time ago. I don't understand why America doesn't have the will to change this. Why every day we wake up knowing that I'm going to go to work, it's just going to get worse every day. And we won't even organize to stop this shit. Anyway, but our education, right? I went to school, graduated from school. We were number one in the world for education. Number one. But after the government finally got its claws into education completely, what are we, 36th now in the country, in the world? 36th? How is that progressing and making improvements? And this is the thing. That's one reason why our culture and society in our country is falling, because our educational level is falling. I mean, if children are our future and we're not educating our children so they don't have a future, I guess we don't have a future. And even Trump said, Americans aren't even capable of doing entry-level jobs anymore. That's why we need H-1B visa workers. So you're telling me our educational system doesn't even give somebody the ability to work in fucking McDonald's? Is anybody getting tired of being insulted by that man? I voted for him, by the way. Just so everybody knows, I voted for him. But I feel like I got kicked in the fucking teeth. All I know is a year ago when he was president-elect, I was looking forward to having American culture back, having America back the way it was, being free, not going around the world and acting like a big fucking bully, okay? Getting the illegals out of this country. You know, just having Americans here for just a little bit, okay? Having the American dream come back. Anybody see that happening? Well, I definitely didn't think that Lindsey Graham was going to become Trump's best butt buddy. But I guess they are. Maybe they are pounding away behind the camera, behind the curtain, huh? What are you going to do? Get me this time, Trump, or do I get to fuck you up the ass? Sick ass shit. Like I say, Trump, this little nobody's calling you a fucking ass beta male pussy, Trump. You're a fucking ass beta male pussy. Just like all the Democrats out there, beta male fucking pussies. Okay? Anyway, but you had us fooled for a little bit. So our education sucks. We went from number one when I was in school to, we'll be at, let's see, 183 countries, 186 countries in the world. We'll be at the bottom in no time, okay? Because remember, they got the people here to replace us that got an average IQ of 67. Things are going to look great. I think this goes beyond Democrats and Republicans. Yeah, it does. Wings of the same bird, people. Like I say, both parties steal more money from you through taxes, spend it on shit you don't fucking like, especially with fraudulent Somalians and wars in Ukraine and shit, and do everything they can to infringe on your constitutional rights, if not flat out take them away altogether. Which party doesn't do that? But I'll tell you one thing, the Democrats were shooting people down at 6 o'clock in the morning with the FBI and ATF with no knock raids. Guy comes running out of his house in his underwear and they shoot him down. I mean, really, FBI, you got all that body armor, all that weaponry, and you got to shoot down an unarmed man running in his underwear because he thinks his house is being invaded by a bunch of criminals? Which they were. Oh, it's God's about that. It is God's world. But we got somebody in the White House with people telling him he's Jesus Christ. I know it's God's world. I live my life. My soul is in this body to experience what it's like to be human, to experience life on this planet. Okay, that's a little fraction of maybe 100 years of my soul's eternal life. But it's definitely getting a lesson how evil people are. Maybe it's a bottomless pit sphere, has no bottom to it. I don't know. We can put an end to this at any time, people. Like I say, all of us that are looking at our country from the outside, looking in the bubble that all these people are in, we are going to have to organize and take our country back, okay? We are going down the road of tyranny right now. And eventually that tyranny is going to hit the roadblock of us vets and patriots that aren't going to let them do it, okay? Who do you think is telling Trump he's Jesus? Well, I don't know, a lot of people. I mean, I just hope, see in 3 years, people, Trump, they're already warming up Trump's jail cell. I mean, if all you need is an indictment to fucking arrest him, well, I guess Russia can have an indictment and we'll just ship him to Russia. But Trump will finish out his life in a jail cell if we have elections. I hate to say that, but he does like Zelensky, and Zelensky canceled the election, 2 years ago now? So I guess if Zelensky set the precedent in a democracy, canceling the elections, I guess God, Trump can do the same fucking thing. I'm so sick of that piece of shit in the last few days, getting on TV, threatening fucking everybody. The world is one big community, one big fucking neighborhood. And when the rest of the neighborhood realizes that one neighbor cannot be trusted no more, well, what do you think's going to happen? Like I say, we're 350 million people, buddy, and we're going to sit there and piss off 8 billion? Yeah, sounds like a plan to me. Okay, and I'll get into that later. Okay, that's the money, education. I mean, everything in America is going downhill. I mean, the education level is so bad. We need to have DEI hires. They get hired because of the color of their skin, not because they're educated and can do a good job. DEI hires. How about this, Trump? Put some DEI hires. Have them work on Air Force One. I think that should be only right. I mean, put the same idiot assholes that are working on the aircraft that Americans fly in, have them work on Air Force One, since we're all equal, right? Anyway, medical. Where should I even start with medical? Now, me, I don't have to take no medications. I haven't gone to the doctor in over 20 years. I do manual labor. I try to stay in shape the best I can, eat the best I can. You know how much money that saved me? Saved me a lot of money. All you people spending $2,000, $2,500 a month on medical insurance, plus your deductibles. I got a suggestion. Go buy a $100 a month gym membership. Try that out once. Because the doctor who's raking you over the coals and making all that money off of you, the last thing he's going to do is make you fucking healthy. Okay? And then all these people that took the black labeled now COVID vaccine, okay? Because that's how people are going to just be so healthy, is going to the pharmaceutical companies for some more of their magic potions, right? How's that working out for you? The medical tyranny that they put us through during the pandemic, because it was no pandemic. You want to know what a pandemic is? Study the 1918 Spanish flu, like I did 30 years ago. You'll know what a pandemic is and what a plandemic is. Okay? But if you also watch my live stream on the Nuremberg Code, you'll see how many world officials, CEO execs of pharmaceutical companies, anybody who pushed the vaccine, from your Hollywood actor to your fucking doctor, committed crimes against humanity. Because the Nuremberg Code, which was adopted in 1947 during some of the secondary Nuremberg trials, the trial of the doctors, it protects all citizens of the world. And if you break any of the 10 principles of that code, it's crimes against humanity. Look up the Nuremberg Code, people. Read it. And tell me if you took the COVID, black labeled COVID vaccine, pokey poke, tell me that somebody should be charged with crimes against humanity. This is the thing, people. When our founding fathers created this country and the Constitution, after all the shit they went through to get to that point, they put in the safeguards so future generations hopefully would not have to deal with the same shit they did. But lo and behold, here we are, dealing with the same shit. Same with the medical. They passed the Nuremberg Code in 1947, so nobody would have to experience what the Jews and all the other people that Nazis did medical experiments on during World War II. No other citizen in the world through future generations would ever have to endure that. And they just threw that off like it. I mean, nobody even knows about the Nuremberg Code. That needs to be taught again. And then when it's taught again, a lot of politicians, Operation Warp Speed was a crimes against humanity, according to the Nuremberg Code. And the one thing nice about the Nuremberg Code, right, I liked that if anything was questionable, where they thought it could go awry, the doctor who was administering the testing also had to take the vaccine. But who was exempt from the vaccine again? Well, that would have been pharmaceutical company employees, government employees. Do you get the point here? But then again, all you Americans that lined up and thought that the government could give you orders to do something or you lose your job. I mean, all these people need to be sued and thrown in jail for crimes against humanity. Anybody who got fired from their job because they wouldn't take the pokey poke has a lawful case in criminal court and civil court to sue the person that made them take it and put them in fucking jail. Like I say, our people that lived on this planet before us tried to institute stuff to protect further generations. But this is why history repeats itself. Because they don't teach history, people forget history and just keep repeating it. Anyway, so that takes care of the medical. Let's get up to the foreigners and all the fraud we got going in this country. Isn't it nice that Somalians get to live a nice, comfy life in $1 million mansions, driving 6-figure vehicles, while Americans can barely afford to live in their fucking $5,000 car, can't afford food? The only thing we can really afford is taxes because that comes out of our check before we get it. Right, Trump? Yay! America's never been making so much money. Yeah, you know what, Trump? You've never been spending so much money. I love how our politicians don't have a problem spending our money on shit that doesn't help us or benefit the American citizen, but can spend all this fucking money on these foreigners. $300 a night hotel rooms for foreigners while our homeless vets stay shivering in the fucking streets. Anybody getting the picture that the American citizen is being replaced and is going to fund the replacement? Okay? These fucking foreigners, I'm so tired of it. These Somalians running their goddamn trap saying they made America great. They made America what it was. I mean, are you fucking kidding me? Then how come your country's such a fucking shithole? You didn't have no brains over there? They're going to take credit for what us older people and the generations before me we created. They're going to take credit for it. Come over like 30 years ago, 20 years ago, because Bush started letting them in. And saying, oh, we're making this country. Are you fucking kidding me? The average Somalian contributes, with all their effort that they put out through the year, contribute about $2,700 towards our country's financial future. $2,700. They take more than that in 2 weeks from the government. They need to go. And everybody's like, oh, guess what? Tim Walz isn't running for re-election. We got him. Are you kidding me? We're not arresting him? He's going to be able to finish out his term and then just go away into the sunset with his millions of dollars in his Swiss bank account that he embezzled because they were getting kickbacks. And nothing's going to happen to him. And people, well, at least that's happening. I'm saying, fuck that. Arrest him. If any American would defraud the government for $1 fucking dollar, they'll spend $1 million to throw your ass in fucking jail. I guarantee you'd be arrested. They took months planning Maduro's arrest. Really? How many months is it going to take for you to plan Tim Walz's arrest? But you notice one thing about, I'll get into that later. We're talking about fraud. Okay? The Minnesotas dealing with the Somalians. What about the Ohios that had to, during the election, that had to deal with the Haitians, where their dogs and cats were missing, where these Haitians were allowed to go to the fucking park and kill the geese and ducks in the whatever in the park and take it home with them and never get charged. I mean, are you fucking kidding me? What happens to me if I shoot a duck without a hunting license? I lose everything. My gun, my car, all my possessions. But not if you're a foreigner, because we got to feel sorry for them. They don't know any better. Well, if you come to America, you better know fucking better. And what about Dearborn, Michigan? Having to deal with the Muslims up there, Muslim mayor, signs written in Arabic and shit. You know, I'm sure if I were to go there, I'd probably feel like, this don't really feel like America. Almost feel like I'm in a foreign land where they want to bring Sharia law. I mean, we're actually, the government's allowing it to where the Constitution isn't part of the supreme law in some parts of our country because foreigners have taken over. Dearborn, Michigan, take your city back. March on the fucking mayor, kick him the fuck out of there. Like I say, Trump, you want to sit there and fly criminals, you call criminals, into our country? We got a lot of criminals that need to be flown out of our country. But see, he's too concentrated on his shit. Anyway, but and his H-1B visa workers. Over 50 million H-1B visa workers. Over 50 million Americans that don't have jobs because we have foreigners in here. And then let's add 20 more million Americans that don't have jobs because of illegal foreigners are here that Trump wants to give amnesty to because Americans don't want to do their jobs. You know, if there's a job in America that Americans don't want to do, like pick its food or work in restaurants or shit, well, you know, after a while of missing it, Americans will figure out that they do want to do the job. You know, if you're too fucking lazy to pick your own tomato to feed your ass, I'm not going to pick it for you. But yeah, all these H-1B visa workers, and they come to this country and they talk shit. And all the money that they make, and this is another thing. All the money, I've worked with the H-1B visa workers. They send 3/4 of their paycheck back to their country. Unlike an American worker who would sit there and put his money back into America. All this money that American businesses and stuff are losing because all the money's going to the countries of these foreigners, about to have mass starvation, so they will quit the numbers. Yeah, we're gonna, you know, they're using food as a weapon. All I know is when this country can produce enough food to feed this country, in 1 year we produce enough food to feed this country for 4 years. If food's as expensive as it is, don't sound too right to you, does it? Food should be 25% of what it is now. And like I say, I work in agriculture, both ranching and farming. So don't try to tell me I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Anyway, yeah, these foreigners need to go. This is what America wants. We want our fucking country back. You know, and when we do kick out all these illegals, non-American pieces of shit foreigners, the politicians that supported them need to go with them. Like the 60 senators that were taking money from Maduro. Anyway, let's talk about our rogue president. I can't believe that Americans are supporting kidnapping Maduro. Kidnapping! That's against the law to begin with. They say they kidnapped him. So who's going to be charged with kidnapping? That's number one. Number two, they want to make it sound like some super ops military operation captured Maduro. Bullshit. I got a couple things that go against that. One thing is Trump is saying that we have control of Venezuela. That was the agreement. They actually said agreement when we got Maduro that the United States would run Venezuela. But the people in Venezuela are saying, no, not the case. See, this is what happened. The Venezuelan, the people that were in the government that didn't like Maduro, but were just like him, but figured they could be more prosperous without him, called the U.S. up and say, hey, guess what? We've arrested him. He's right here. Come pick him up. Yeah, that was the supreme, super duper military operation. They had to go pick him the fuck up. Don't let anybody lie to you, okay? Venezuela gave him up. Yeah, the people are saying, we want him back now. Bullshit, okay? And then Trump goes, wow, if the woman in charge there, I don't even know her name, I don't give a shit. If she don't sit there and bow down to us, she's going to have it far worse happen to her. I mean, Trump threats after fucking threats after fucking threats after fucking threats. How long do you think Russia and China are going to put up with this shit? All those business agreements that China had with Venezuela are now out the door, right, Trump? How long do you think China's going to let you keep kicking them in the teeth? Oh, why did Japan bomb Pearl Harbor? Does anybody remember that? Oh, yeah. From Roosevelt doing the oil embargo and doing everything to fucking make Japan come to its knees. I don't know what's wrong with America. What are we, gods on this planet? We're the best country there ever was. Our politicians, our military is so great, we can't be fucking touched. And the thing is, you got some sorry-ass Americans believing this shit. Okay? If Russia wants to bomb us, they're going to bomb us and there ain't a fucking thing we can do about it. If China wants to take Taiwan, which I think they're going to do in the next couple months, and you're going to see how Sugar Daddy fucking Super Trump can't do a fucking thing about it. See, President pussy-ass beta male Trump can stand up to Venezuela. This is what it's like. You got a professional team, football team, taking on a peewee team, kicking the peewee team's ass, and Americans going, damn, isn't that professional team great? They just whooped the shit out of that peewee team. Good job, America. You're so fucking tough. When I was in the Marine Corps, the same fucking way, back in the 80s. A senior picking on a first grader. Don't worry, though. Try that with Putin, Trump. But no, he's going to go after Cuba now, and Mexico, and Greenland. I mean, does anybody get the feeling like we're at war, conquering other countries, and it's just like nobody really knows what's going on? I mean, how many countries is America going to have to be in control of before the rest of the world decides that's enough? Just like with Hitler. Poland was the line in the sand. Austria, Hungary, the Sudetenland, the rural area. But Poland, that was the end of the line. Trump, you're going to keep going till you hit that point where the rest of the world just declares war on our ass? Like I say, if it's 350 Americans against 8 billion other people on the planet, our countries are going to become awful fucking small. And see, it doesn't matter. See, Trumpy, you doing all this shit, they're just going to defeat us another way, financially, because countries will stop accepting the American dollar. And when the only time you can spend the American dollar is in America, okay. See, when I was overseas, people loved the American dollar. The countries that I was in would rather have the American dollar any day when you bought something than their own currency. Do you think it's that way now? I doubt it. I highly doubt it. What Trump will do if Europe will end sanctions to Russia and say welcome to in Europe. What Trump will do, that is what would rule the world. Hillary got voted in. Well, how can any American look at this and say this is okay? Can't you see the repercussions of this? Okay, let's just say Venezuela. He went and did his stupid, dirty daddy's retarded shit in Venezuela. We all know it's about oil and rare earth minerals. Okay, because obviously we're not going to get Ukraine's rare earth minerals anymore, now, are we? So we have to get them somewhere else. I'm Canadian. None of that matters, really. Okay. I hope you're right. You guys in Canada are dealing with absolute retarded shit, okay? And it's floating down here. I mean, how's your socialized medicine working in Canada? How do you like your gun rights in Canada? I tell you what, it doesn't matter. All these world leaders are really starting to have an ego trip, and Trump is the head of the pack. But anyway, America, what Trump did is breaks everything what America stands for. Everything. I mean, let's get into do unto others as you want done unto yourself. Now do you see why you're going to be in a prison cell in 3 years, Trump? That says it all. I mean, we still got 3 years of this man left. I can't believe I voted for him. Kamala Harris was even a worse decision. She wouldn't have been going after world leaders. She would have been putting people like me in jail for speaking out against them. And believe me, if you don't think I spoke out against the Democrats, my Lone Wolf Prepper channel got canceled, put underneath the YouTube prison because of what I was saying about the Democrats. Okay? I'm a constitutional conservative. I don't like either freaking ass party. They're both screwed up. But what Trump is doing now, I mean, I'm sorry, we're starting to look like the Third Reich. What are we? Are we going to be the Fourth Reich, Donald Trump, or the Fifth Reich, whatever? Maybe there was a Fourth Reich. They keep saying there was. Are we the Fifth Reich now? We're going to control the world. We're going to try to conquer the world without the average person even knowing it's happening. All I know, Trump, is when you get kidnapped, remember, you set the precedent. Okay? And you're there to make the Venezuelan people's lives better? Well, there's a lot of Americans that don't like the way their lives are going because of any politicians in this fucking country. Maybe Russia should do the same to make America better, should kidnap our president and be done with it, right? The lawless one, just trust in Jesus, my friend. We will be saved soon. Trump will issue the mark soon. I tell you what, see, this year, I'm headed to the mountains. I see what's coming. You know, hopefully I'll be a YouTube creator, making money on YouTube, spreading the truth. If not, I'll find other means. But, you know, living in the United States is going to become a very dangerous thing, whether it's the foreigners you got to worry about or the government you got to worry about. I mean, since Trump can go kidnap, and that's the word they use, kidnap, which is a crime, kidnap a world leader, what's to prevent them from, like I say, kidnapping me? We don't throw them in jail no more. We kidnap them. You know, the thing is, if they ever come arrest me, I'm going to be going to some secret prison somewhere in another country while they slowly fucking kill my ass, trying to get me to just bend a little bit, say, beg for mercy or something. Fuck you. Death is only the beginning. Okay? And why would I be mad at somebody who's going to set me free? Anyway, but yeah, and this is going to come home to roost, people. The world's not going to put up with dictator Donald Trump going around the fucking world, just kidnapping world leaders, killing people whoever he wants. Like I say, read the founding fathers' documents. I mean, does this go anywhere with where our country was supposed to go? What path it was supposed to follow? Any of it? Anyway, I voted for Trump again. Well, if you do, good. Like I say, when the bombs are falling on your block, in your city, and on your house, remember you said that. I'd vote for Trump again. And remember, people followed Hitler all the way to the end. They followed him so much, they followed him into suicide. Are you going to be one of them? Put your faith in a man instead of God? Are you fucking kidding me? Anyway, but, he's got the world, the people convinced. But, Trump, you can talk all your big shit, you big fucking beta male pussy all you want. Yeah, Trump, you big fucking beta male pussy. Yeah, Biden, you big fucking beta male pussy. Yes, Schumer, you big beta male fucking pussy. Yes, J.D. Vance, a Marine, and I hate to say this about a fellow NCO in the Marine Corps, you big beta male pussy. And now we hear how there was an attempt on J.D. Vance's life. What? This is what you do. You go with a hammer, break all the fucking windows in the house to tell everybody you're fucking coming so you can sit there and get away with your dastardly plan. Who the fuck is believing that? See, this is all distractions. You know why it's a distraction? Because after the Somalia fraud came out, all Americans, the division that they had created in America, all the walls were collapsing because the American taxpayer was pissed. It didn't matter what color, nationality, or what or political affiliation you were. You were all on the same side. We were becoming united because we all knew we were being ripped off. And then we have this. The arresting of Maduro, the capturing of Maduro. And now we're all fighting with each other again, whether we're for this or against it. I mean, fucking kidding me? When are we going to come to it together as Americans? Like I say, on this channel, all you Americans that are in the bubble, in the cage, caught in the cage, I'm opening the door for you. Here, you can escape the cage. Come out and look at it like I'm looking at it. But they're like, God, if I come outside the cage, then I'm responsible for myself. And then I actually have to see the way the truth is. And I have to see the lie I've been living all this time. And I can't handle that. I'll stay in the fucking cage. That's where I want to stay. And liberal Democrats are the same fucking way. Okay? Tim Walz is not running for re-election. That must mean there must be some, truth behind the Somalia fraud. And he was part of it. How come you can't arrest him, Trump? I mean, you can sit there and have a military operation to arrest a foreign leader of a sovereign nation and think that's okay. But you won't arrest the enemy of the American taxpayer because you just can't do it? You can't send some cops. Well, we couldn't send Minneapolis to St. Paul cops there because they're all, they're all supporting him because, those St. Paul and Minneapolis mayors, they're just as in deep as Tim Walz is, getting their kickbacks and shit. Anyway, but America was coming together. I had people from the hood, black men from the hood with channels that were saying the same shit I was saying. It's time to drop our differences and come together and get our country back. But now, boom, what's happened in Venezuela gives another division in between Americans. Like I say, if you're all for this, what goes around comes around, okay? Do unto others as you want, done unto yourself. So I guess if we have American arms falling on Russia, it's only right for Russia to feel that we should feel the same thing. But then again, Russia did say that all command and control centers of the war with Ukraine were going to be bombed, but they never came through with that threat. Hi, I'm from Scotland. You're another country that's dealing with this horse shit. Worse than dealing with the immigrants, worse than we are. But, that Scottish 14-year-old girl that had to save her and her daughter from her and her 12-year-old sister from a Muslim that, had bad intentions, you might say. And she pulls out a hatchet and a knife to say, get the fuck away or I'm going to start cutting you up. And the first thing they got to do is get on her for defending herself instead of seeing the crime that's going on. And like I always say, when it starts in one country in the West, whether it be America, United States, whether it be England, whether it be Canada, whether it be Germany, whether it be France, or somewhere, whatever the rebellion, the free people get off back. YouTube playing its game. That's one thing to do. Deal with social media in this country. I mean, all these people that took the black label COVID vaccine are mad at us that are the ones that didn't, because we didn't warn them enough. Well, I remember people standing up to the shit trying to warn people that got arrested by the cops. I appreciate everybody still being here after YouTube disconnected me from the live stream. They like doing that when too many people like hearing what I have to say. Like I say in social media, like I say, if you were on the outside looking in the bubble and say, I thought you guys have freedom of speech. How come your speech is being censored and you're not doing a goddamn thing about it? You talk a big game, but I don't see you producing any results. You're not talking at all, bitch. Anyway, I'm from London. It's basically Pakistan here. Yep. And you Englanders are getting pissed off. Now do you know how you Englanders, now do you realize how the colonists felt in the 1760s, 1770s and stuff? Do you see why the colonists finally rose up and told the government that you got right now to kiss our fucking ass? I mean, this is the thing, people. We got millions of people, hundreds of millions of people in this country that don't like what the government's doing. But yet we're ruled by a few thousand people. Are you fucking kidding me? What? They don't rule me? Not happening. Oh, if you like the content, please hit the thumbs up, the subscribe, and the bell notification. Anything to help the channel grow and piss off the YouTube algorithm. Because the truth is something that's hard to come by these days, and the truth is being covered up. Like I say, Trump, let's hear the truth on the real capture of Maduro, on how Venezuela just gave him up and basically tricked your ass, Trump. Like I said, they knew it. If our government made a deal with Venezuela that after we got Maduro, they would sit there and let the U.S. control the country, obviously Venezuela officials had prior knowledge of it. And if China, a couple hours before Maduro got captured, came over specifically to talk to Maduro, to tell him what was going on, so whatever, Trump. You had a bunch of people that you could bribe into giving up Maduro. And I'm not going to believe any different. Because right now they're not giving, any details about the raid. Because they're not juicy enough. I mean, the last thing they want to say is all the military had to do was fly their chopper in, pick them up, and put them on the chopper. Brother, please get a drink and take a breath. You're not alone. I just see this as a thing. I'm a jarhead. How am I supposed to react? How am I supposed to react when I see our Constitution being trashed? When I see American citizens being treated as second-class citizens? When I see our world leader, our president, acting like fucking Hitler. A lot of people before World War II started tried to tell even during World War II, tried to tell the Germans what Hitler really was. When Hitler came to power, Germans didn't know if he was something good with a few bad side effects or something bad with a few good side effects. And as through time, people realized, okay? And what happened to them when they were trying to spread the truth? Well, let's just say the full weight of the government came down on them. Now, we don't have quite that going on here. We just have a way to silence everybody, okay? But you can't stop me from talking on the streets. And believe me, everybody I meet and talk to, this is what I discuss. I'm very passionate about it. I want my country back. I got children and grandchildren that need a future, and that future is a freaking slave, okay? They need to be educated. They need to be able to have the three basics of life: food, water, and shelter, without it being a problem, especially in the richest country ever, right? In the world. The average citizen shouldn't have problems surviving, day to day. But Trump's more concerned about arresting foreign leaders of countries so he can make their country better while making America great again. Woo! Anybody believe that shit? All I know is, see, as Americans, all you got are caught in the bubble, and we got people in other nations seeing America. It's like, America, when are you going to do something? Americans, when are you going to do something? When are you going to do something? Take your fucking country back. Like I say, over there in England, we told England, the king, to kiss our ass and fought a revolution and beat their ass, right? But right now, I guess we don't feel liberty is worth fighting for, because that would take away government entitlements. That would take away our Walmart and our McDonald's for a couple weeks if we actually fought for our freedom again. All free people of the world will come together, and we will fight all these tyrants. These tyrants are not going to be able to hide anywhere. Like I say, we got a few 100,000 people absolutely destroying the lives of over 8 billion people. When are you going to put an end to that, people? When is the average person going to realize that son of a bitch that's trying to be tyrant in your life put your pants on the same fucking way and bleeds red just like you do? Okay? And they have no power over authority. See, that's one thing. They don't have power or authority over me. I'm done with that. Okay, I'm an American, I'm an independent person, and I don't need a government crook. They're an illegal government. Flat out. They need to be overthrown. And I'm telling pussy-ass beta male Trump that, in 3 years you're going to be in a jail cell. Because, do unto others as you want done unto you. We are Christians in this country, right? Well, Donald Trump is definitely doing what he wants done unto him in the future. All you need is an indictment. I guess we'll ship to the first country that has an indictment. All politicians in this country need to be given a message. They all need to be arrested and out. We need to dissolve our governments. State citizens need to take back their states. Okay? A tax revolt to totally defund our government and take our states back. We can dissolve the federal government without a shot being fired. But all you that are happy with the way things are going and think, hoorah, 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 we're the United States, we're the big tough guy on the block. You're just basically committing your grandchildren and your children to slavery if they get to live. I just don't understand how Americans can be so for something that is so blatantly against the Constitution and American culture and just American the way of life. By the way, we got a rogue president, people. And no, Tim Walz ain't going to get arrested, but let's see if the Cuban president's going to be next brought here on charges. And the average American can't see the inherent danger in this. Can't see us acting like Nazi Germany. Like I say, it's going to have to be bombs falling on their house, foreign troops on our soil before they go, oh, maybe that wasn't the best thing that we were doing. But anyway, if we're going to, well, they say too, live by the sword, die by the sword. Do unto others as you want done unto you. What goes around comes around. Any of that makes sense to anybody in our country yet? Babylon, Rome, America, yeah. And it's so hard to see. It's so hard to watch. It's so hard to see Americans, like I say, I'm on YouTube and I'm watching these shows where you got YouTubers that are just hurrahing this shit. They've never been in the military, don't know shit. And they're just hoorahing this shit. I mean, you think we're going to be saved from World War III? That's coming. Do you think the United States citizen is going to be saved from the repercussions of World War III? I mean, does anybody think that China and Russia can't bomb us, even with airplanes? You're out of your fucking mind. I remember who said that too. Hermann Goering said that German cities will never be bombed by Allied bombers. And then they said, well, when the bombing was going on, we'll never have to worry about American fighters over German cities like Berlin during the bombing. And then all of a sudden, Monday, 209 P-51 Mustangs were protecting the bombers. What goes around comes around. You want to live by the sword, you're going to die by the sword. All I know is I'm going to have plenty of documentation out there on social media saying, I was against this shit. I want our 4 million man, well-regulated militia to have training exercises around D.C. this summer. And the rest of the well-regulated militia holding training exercises in all states. Maybe I'll get that as my wish for this year. Give a message to the government that a lot of us think you're just like Maduro, you son of a bitch. You know, over half the world thinks Trump's a fucking criminal. And one day, half the world is going to come after the country that he's leading. Anyway, live by the sword, die by the sword. What comes around goes around. Do unto others as you want done unto yourself. So as you can see what's going on now, you can see the future of the United States. I hope you're all prepared for it. I hope you're all trained like I am and experienced like this Marine is. Okay? That gives me, a little bit of a foot forward than everybody else. But don't worry. It could never happen here. Right? Anyway, I appreciate everybody being here. That's all I got for this evening. Please hit that thumbs up, the subscribe, and the bell notification. Like I say, YouTube is trying to hide the truth. All social media platforms are. And this is the thing. You know it's a crooked-ass game when you got Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg, who hated Trump, are on his side now. That's the thing with these rich billionaires. They just blow with whatever way the wind's blowing. Anyway, crazy times, people, crazy times. But like I say, looking at America, the bubble America from outside the bubble, Americans are definitely sleepy. Anyway, everybody have a great night. This is Tom with Hidden Truths. I'm out of here.